She walked alongside her sister-in-law toward the manor's front entrance, though she suspected Jeannie's ambling gait was purposefully slowing their progress. For at least the 6th time since breakfast, Jeannie said, "You are not obliged to leave," and tightened her grasp on their linked arms until she was practically holding Audrey back from taking her next step. "I don't give a fig what anyone might say about your presence. This is my home, my house party, and if I say you are welcome, then no one will contest me." She had been harping on this point for a few days now, ever since Audrey had announced that it was high time for her to remove to Fornia Downs. She ought not to have even been at her brother and sister-in-law's Kent estate to begin with, and she certainly should have departed well before the day the guests were to arrive. But Michael and Jeannie were difficult to argue with. They'd insisted she come stay with them for the summer at Greenbrier, a tract of 5,000 acres of rolling fields and farms, woodland, hills and ponds. The offer had been attractive, much more so than spending the summer months in Hertfordshire at Fornia Downs alone, and as the house party approached with its dozen guests planning to stay a fortnight, Jeannie and Michael had kept finding reasons for her to remain. Their ultimate hope was that she would stay for the house party too, but it simply could not be done. "I wish I could, truly," Audrey squeezed Jeannie's arm. "But you know my presence is impossible. I may be apt to break the rules now and again, but morning customs are inflexible things." It had been just over 4 months since Philip followed through with his plan to convalesce in the south of France, accompanied only by his valet, Grayson. 4 months since Audrey had clung to him in a final embrace in their London home on Curzon Street, her eyes filled with tears of both heartache and fury. "I vow to you," he'd whispered as he'd held her, "I will find a way to get word to you when things have settled. Whatever you choose to do from here with your life, I will not interfere, ever." Her throat had been so thick with emotion that she hadn't been able to respond. He'd kissed her forehead, whispered that he loved her, and then departed in his carriage for Dover, where he'd take a packet across the Channel to Calais. A little over 3 months ago, the letter she dreaded receiving had arrived. She'd known to expect it, but had hoped Philip would change his mind at the last minute, that he would decide to come home after all. "It is absurd," Jeannie sighed, though with a note of resignation.